okay, honey, sorry.
When I do a cooking party, what I typically do is set up stations. And I have learned that whatever you can prep ahead as far as like simple measurements like this broth and whatever, go ahead and have that measured out. Make sure, tell the host to have her veggies and stuff rinsed, and because people know how to measure, you can speak to it and whatever. So those kind of simple things, just have them set up and ready, just as I have right here. I haven't measured out the Worcester sauce yet, but anyway, I do that, but then I put the ingredients and the tools they're gonna need for that part of the recipe in one station, and then I set up, like this is a second station, and then I have a third station over here with the recipe. And that saves you a lot of time, and you can move through your recipe a lot faster. Even like the cauliflower, already broke this up, so that's done ahead of time. So anything like those kind of things, unless it's essential for demoing that product to really show it, then have it pre-done. So anyway, and then I get volunteers, and Kathy and Debbie are my volunteers. You have to wash your hands first, make sure your hands are clean. And I washed mine before I started. So I get them working on that, and I guess I need a third person because we have 3 stations. So who would like to, Brandy, be my person? It's simple. These are very, very simple things. So, okay. So you go by Danny, not Danielle. Okay. So thank you, Danny. Okay.
Hey, you!
And then we have the reader. Typically, I will be the reader, even though, unless I have a real confident host or someone who really wants to do that, you sort of just read your crowd for that, or your group. But in this case, I'm going to, because I've cooked this recipe. Oh, really important step. Whatever you demo, make sure you've made it at home first. So you've taken care of all the uh-ohs before you get there, and at least you're familiar, And so then I can read through the recipe and kind of take them through it the best. And of course, our recipes, suggest the products. If you don't have that product, then just use whatever would be a suitable substitute for it. And you can always say, oh, by the way, you could have also used blah and describe blah, okay? How you can use that, okay? All right, so as a matter of fact, my blah for this recipe is the Quick Prep Food Grater. You all know what that is? Okay, so just for the sake of time today, we didn't pull that and do it, and I just went ahead and grated the cheese and the carrots ahead of time. And I did the hand coarse grater for the carrots, but I did use the Quick Prep on my cheese, because you can grate a boatload of cheese with that thing fast. But anyway, so everything's ready to go. So all right, natural. Kathy,
Yes?
you take care of this. Is going, when I get to it, that's going to be your part.
Okay.
Debbie, you're here at the blender, that's your part. And Danny, you're going to be over here manning the stovetop section, okay? So, all right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add the cauliflower ingredients in the order listed. And with the blender, a lot of the recipes say in the order listed, so that because they always say that, Debbie, she's never used this blender before, so this is new to her.
So I'm supposed to put all this in?
All right, in the order listed, a half a cup of water, pour that in first. Half a teaspoon of salt, which has already been pre-measured.
That cauliflower is something else.
Yeah, it's been bad. Well, it's been setting out too.
Yeah.
Instead of, all right, and then a head of cauliflower. Just pour that whole thing in here. The cauliflower. It calls for 8 or 9 cups of the florets. Okay.
All right.
All right. Now you replace the lid and lock it in place, and you start. Yeah, this side. You might want to come to the front of it, and you want this to always be to this side of you, and then lock it. You hear that? You hear that little ringtone? Okay. You're entertained while you cook. Okay. All right. And so then you're going to turn the wheel here, our control wheel. You want to turn that to heated Paris, which is right here.
Custom heat?
No, heated Paris.
Oh, okay, I see it.
So see it's lit there? Okay, now just push in the center is your start button.
Oh, okay.
gets to a long grinding sound, that's usually your clue to, you might use the tamper. Now, I did this last night, I did not have to use this, because it sort of was grinding the cauliflower pretty fine as it went. Here in a few minutes. Okay, so we're going to preheat our broiler, which I don't know, did you do that? Go ahead and preheat the broiler for our stove, because that'll be the last step of our recipe. So meanwhile, we're going to take that cooking oil over there, Danny, and put it, this is our 4-quart rock pot. Just put it in there, and you're going to heat that on medium heat for 3 to 5 minutes, and then you're going to add 2 pounds of the ground beef, which is, I've got about 2.5 pounds over there, so you could just guesstimate 2 pounds. It's going to be most of what's in that package. But let that oil heat first, then add that, and then you're going to add you're going to add 2 tablespoons of the 3 onion rub, and that's our, Pampered Chef rubs. They're gluten free. They're very, very popular with our customers. They love them, and they really add flavor to the food. Who here has a rock pot? What do you love about it?
That thing takes.
Goes everywhere.
Goes everywhere, as in.
Stovetop, microwave, oven, grill, everywhere.
One of my past hosts, she had ordered one, and she took it camping with her, and she said it was perfect.
Oh, yeah, yes, perfect. I do, anybody that RVs and camps is, RV is particularly great for that. And you also have the slow cooker stand that it fits in, so your rock crock becomes a crock pot. That's a tongue twister, okay? And then our blender, in addition to making the heated puree, and it does smoothies, as we saw earlier. You can do soups. Somebody else have any ideas? Peanut butter.
Whipped cream.
Whipped cream.
Daiquiris.
Okay. Dips, spreads.
Jam.
Jam. Hot chocolate.
Oh, the
The
hot
hot chocolate
chocolate.
recipe is so good.
Oh, milk. Alternate
Yeah,
milk.
ice milk. Yep. Isn't even the ice cream a heated hot?
Was it 2?
2 tablespoons, which is probably going to be just about all of that. So I think you're probably safe to just dump it. Yeah.
So this is chocolate.
And there, and you're going to take your mix and chop. Who has the mix and chop? This is like,
Oh, I love
you
it. I
know,
love that thing.
and you can always turn it the other way and do karaoke with it while you're. And this is why we started this first. This is step 1, because this does take a few minutes. So this is why we want this to be going on while we're doing the other parts of the recipe. Okay? So while we have that going on, we've got the beef is cooking, and we've added our 3 onion rub to it. And we're just going to break that up into small crumbles until it's no longer pink. Okay? And then we're going to drain the grease from that, and with a colander is over there in the sink. Okay, we can begin mixing up over here. So here you go. We want 1/4 cup of the tomato paste, and that's all set in place over there. 1/4 cup of that. You're going to use all. That's a cup and 1/3 of beef broth that you'll be using. And also you will be using 2 tablespoons of the Worcester sauce, and that's a 1/2 tablespoon there, so you don't have to use that 4 times. These little mini measure-all cups of any size are so great for these, I call them semi-solids, thick things to measure out. Because you
Pushes
just
it right on
pop
there.
Yep. And your Worcester sauce there.
I don't have my glasses on. Did you say this whole thing?
Do 4 of those, because that's only half tablespoon. Don't worry if you overspill. Some of these recipes, it's okay to you know, go a little bit more on if you want a little bit more flavor and all. Like somebody said that they have a nutritionist that helps with the recipes at Pampered Chef. So sometimes you might want to add a little bit more salt than what they recommended or something. Always tell recipes pretty basic so that they really are easy to modify if you want to make it lean one way or the other. So she's whisking all that. So we've got the Worcestershire tomato sauce and the tomato paste.
Yeah.
What's-
Anything else?
Nope, that's it. And we're gonna hold on to that until after we've drained our beef over here.
What else do you think you can make in the rock crock? Anything?
Chocolate lava cake.
Sounds good. Pasta?
Brussels sprout dip.
Soups, stews, dips, chili, the what?
Like a big ziti.
Oh, yeah.
Chili in the
Chili.
slow cooker, insert, right? You can do ribs.
Yep. Oh, who's tried the root beer barbecue ribs?
I have not done them in the rock crock, but I have done them in the cooker, and they are amazing.
So what would be your, all right, so if you had someone asking you, which is better, the rock crock, would I use it as a slow cooker or the quick cooker? Might you
I
say?
think it depends how much they're willing to spend. If they want more versatility, I would do the rock crock.
Okay.
Depends on where they're making it, if they're wanting to take it over. I mean, the colors are amazing, so it's a really hard toss-up.
Depends how much they like cooking, because if you don't really like cooking, then
they want more simplicity.
The quick cooker is the
Really
best.
good,
Yeah.
you can set it, forget it.
Well, yeah,
kind
well,
of thing.
Stephanie, that's a really good point, because that's what I often, when a customer asks me which, I will, whether it's these two products or another, I always say, well, how do you cook? Are you a microwave cooker? Are you a stove top? And that helps, because they have to see themselves that they're gonna actually use it, and use it more than a couple times. Okay, so, who's gonna do a song and dance?
So this is the perfect time to talk about
Oh, yes, yes. So, our January kit special is for $129. You get this fabulous blender that's valued over $300. The flexible cutting mats, we have them over here, there's 3 of them. The little paring knife, color paring knife, garlic press, and cinnamon press. And I think all of
garlic
that.
peeler.
Garlic peeler, I'm sorry, thank you. I think that
And a mini
adds up.
skinny scraper,
What?
mini skinny scraper.
Ah,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah, so
It's-
I'm gonna give you your commercial,
Oh, and
whether you're doing
And the can opener,
a
yes.
virtual party or, and this is posted on the page. But so there's 3 ways that you can get this blender this month.
Oh,
The first way is it comes in our consulting kit for only $129. This blender is $349. You've seen it's amazing. It's the only blender on the market that not only blends, it cooks, and it even cleans itself, and we'll show you how to do that later. The second way you can get these products is by hosting the show.
And getting it for
This
60% off
month, you can get it at 60% off, which is
would be $139. And may I say that if you're even considering this business, you should, even this much, you should just go ahead and get your kit, because you're gonna get this blender and all those products we just named for $129 as opposed to paying $139 as opposed. You can always use that 60% off towards one of the other power tools that are listed
Yeah.
in that flyer.
and then you'll make all the commission
That's
on
right.
that party too.
Yep.
And the third way, of course, is you can purchase it full price, and you know what? It is an unbelievable value. And those of you who have looked at Vitamixes, you know how expensive this product is. It is already valued. The value is way over the $349. So treat yourself right now for the new year with this amazing product.
great wedding gift. You know, June's not that far away. You know, we just finished Christmas, so you know June's coming anyway, and it's a great wedding gift to give someone.
Yes, and for Valentine's, you can make homemade chocolate almond butter and give it away as special little gifts. And all you do is you just take this Blue Diamond almonds, the dark chocolate almonds, with 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and throw it in there. And in a minute or so, 2 minutes, you have unbelievable butter.
Because we've been washing our hands on top of
Put
it.
it in
Okay.
your little prep bowls and give it away as little Valentine's
that is a good
gifts to
idea.
all the people that you love.
You could. Then you get the one.
Set my husband up, cause he'll do it.
As you can see, it's at 149 degrees and still cooking, still heating.
Or you could use these little things.
So no butter in the.
No what?
No butter.
No butter, no butter. Well, okay, again, this is an example where I would think you would wait and add your butter last till it melts immediately, 'cause otherwise it might scorch if you put it there too early. But yeah, I would think if you wanna, this is the healthy version of cauliflower shepherd's pie, in case y'all didn't know, I didn't even tell y'all we're making it. It's a mystery recipe.
You eat what we make, period.
You don't have a choice. I will say this calls for peas, and my husband hates peas. And it calls for 2 cups, but I love peas, so selfishly I just threw 2 cups in there. And cause he'll eat chicken pot pie and he just picks out the peas. But he said, Kay, he said, next time you make this, he really liked it, but he said, next time you make it, don't put so many peas. 'Cause he was just picking peas like the right. So I brought with me the lumber and I just tried 2 cups, which was fine because that was more, it really was more than enough. All right, so now we've got that drained, okay? So now we're gonna take 1/4 cup of flour and sprinkle it over top the beef. And then you can take that mix and stir right there and mix that flour in. The mix and stir, yeah. And just mix that in. Do we still have our flame going? Medium heat? Now you're gonna add the carrots, which are there to your right. It was only 2 large carrots. You can use that mix and stir and spread bulk, pour this right on out. Now we're gonna whisk, yeah, you can just leave it right there. We're gonna add the liquid here and then you can just mix it all. So now we're gonna simmer this. You might turn it down just a tad, the flame down a little bit. We're gonna simmer this for 5 to 6 minutes or until the sauce is thickened and the carrots are tender.
Do you have to put the lid on or?
No. Do it all over the place. And once the carrots are tender and the sauce is thickened, we're gonna grate the cheese, which we've already done, and we're gonna take the pan from the heat source there, and we're gonna pour the pita puree over top, and then we'll put our cheese on top of that, and then we'll broil it until it's lightly browned. All
Alright, so with this recipe, you see that you would have time, you wanna go prepared with time in between to talk about it. You could almost do your whole, your opening and your closing and everything in the time you're doing this and make it all kinda like one thing.
Or throw in a lot of other products, so
Yeah.
throw in the, you know, the quick cooker or.
Yeah, well, if we had used the quick prep and we actually had gone through that step, that would have eaten up a lot of the time, you know, but, as well. But-
Yeah,
Yes,
it'll tell you it's
it'll
done.
let you know.
It's cooking it right now
Yeah.
too. You-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at 174 degrees right now.
I made the tomato soup recipe.
Oh my
in it.
gosh.
It's so good.
Is it?
Yes.
I'm gonna try
I
that.
added
Doesn't
extra
eat
garlic.
Vegetable soup, and he was like,
We did broccoli and cheddar in it too, and it was super good.
Yeah. Now, I want to talk about something that's been happening, I've been reading a lot about when it seems to be happening with the cheesy potato soup, the scorching, and I do have scorching on the bottom, but it has
Only towards the end.
it
It'll
has,
come off.
it comes off, but there's different suggestions for cleaning it, but I use that
Norwex.
double-ended,
yeah, I use
cleaning
that too,
brush that
yeah.
Pampered Chef sells, it's with a toothbrush.
Well, it comes with the product.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I use that down there to scrub it up, but I had put, I think, baking soda.
Baking soda.
Yeah.
Paste.
And if you
Yeah.
use Norwex at all, the paste. works
Yeah,
great.
comes right, it comes
I
out. I
also
mean,
said put ketchup
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
overnight,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and that will,
yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Is the acid in the ketchup?
Yeah, it was an acid. So you should be prepared for that with your customers if they have that. But I've cleaned mine. It still has looks dark there, and I probably just need to apply a little bit more elbow grease. I can
It'll
get it
come
up.
off.
It'll come off, but it has not affected the taste of anything I've made
We
in it.
missed that. What were y'all talking about?
The cheesy potato soup recipe.
Oh.
A lot of people, myself included, I didn't report it, but it happened to me, but reported that they scorched the bottom of the blender because it has milk. Anytime you have milk involved, you run a risk of scorching. And so anyway, but that scorching will come up with, there's different ways you can clean it, and it comes up. So how's our liquid looking over here? We thick yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, if you're satisfied it's thick, what we're gonna do next is I believe is throw in our, you can leave it in the freezer. It's add the peas that have, it's open, the peas are open that I brought.
Okay. Is that it?
Yep. Watch me, let's see if I missed it here. No, these go in, because they cook up fast. Yeah, we're gonna do a batter and grease it. Let me see where it is. Sprinkler. Carrots, grate the cheese, move in the hand, stir in the peas. Okay, so you remove it from the pan before you stir in the peas.
I mean from the heat.
I mean, remove it from the heat before you stir in the peas. That's the beauty of a gas range, isn't it?
Just turn it off.
Just turn it off instead of having to drag it across your stove. So stir in the peas.
Are we doing all of this?
It says 2 cups. I don't know if it's 2 cups there or not. Fill them in? Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't like peas, just, again, just
Pick
pick
'em
them
out.
out.
It's too complicated.
They keep on the flavor what they are.
Yeah, I don't like these, but I'll eat them in like Popeyes and stuff like that. It's too
Are you
complicated.
gonna use the pea protein or the kale and fiber?
Probably the kale and, oh, there's
Yeah.
actually a lot of protein
Yeah.
and fiber in this. I
Yeah,
think.
well, they said ground beef is it has protein, but it's not full of proteins if you wanna add.
It's just not as
But,
lean.
yeah,
Which one do you-
I brought kale and fiber because it's no green in it, so at least the beef is protein. So anyway, so you add that in, after you add the peas, you can add that in.
You're gonna put the whole thing? What does it say?
It just says add enrichables, kale and fiber at the end of step
It's a
7, which
big
is,
pot.
Okay.
like I
We're
said,
really,
really going to down.
we're gonna be brain dumping here in a little bit.
Didn't know we were having a detox.
I know. Now remember, the kale and fiber will turn your recipe green looking. So if somebody's really because sometimes it's psychological, someone sees green and they're just not gonna eat, so you might wanna skip that.
Yeah.
But Yep, it didn't, you can't tell in this, but in the lighter recipe you
So
could.
I used it in the chicken chili, the white chicken chili, and of course it turns it more green. But because there's like parsley and stuff, and I think I threw in some cilantro. It was already green. I just told my kids, "Oh, it's from that," and they were just like, "Oh, okay." or I call them Hulk whenever, like, "Oh, we're having Hulk."
Now, if you really wanted to make this low-cal, you could use ground turkey in place of the ground beef. So,
If you're a live family, you use ground venison.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's good too, that's pretty lean.
As soon as this is finished, which I would think should be any moment now, we're going to pour this over top of the ground beef and add the cheese, put it over the broiler, and when it comes out, we're going to sprinkle some chives on top, fresh chives, which we're substituting, which is pretty much the same thing as green onion.
Linda.
I did. They're
They
What are
smell
they?
good.
they are good.
Let me-
It's oatmeal. You put it in the processor and make a flour out of it. The oats and applesauce and the enrichables. I put the pea one in there.
Pea protein.
What else did I put in there?
Cinnamon. Sugar.
Yeah, well,
Brown sugar?
that happened at the end, but that wasn't the way it was supposed to be. That's all I can think of was apple. Oh, and 2 bananas, 2 whole large bananas. Yeah.
I feel like they're pretty good. I mean, after the holidays, you're so used to
Yes, sweet. Yeah.
high sugar, but
How would you tweak it?
I think they're pretty good.
I think I would put a little more cinnamon in them, just in the recipe itself, because make it more like a cinnamony type of.
Folks don't eat that.
How many guess with a cup of coffee would be good? Because with
Yeah,
coffee comes
170?
a semi-sweet.
170, but how much protein and,
We use it for everything. It's
fiber? Okay, so the chili's done. And, let me grab a bowl. So I'll just use a fork, but we do have all kinds of tools, sorry honey. All kinds of tools to do this. So the chicken is just, it was whole pieces that went in. And I did sear it. I like to sear the big pieces of meat because I feel like they just, I don't know, they do cook better in here, but you don't have to. You could have just thrown raw frozen meat in here, been fine. And a lot of times I'll double or triple the amount of chicken for this, and then I'll use it for chicken enchiladas or something like that.
Do you have to add more time to your cooking if you triple the amount? Same amount?
And we let this naturally reduce some steam, right? I do find it is a little more tender when you do that. Look at that. I mean, that's just crazy, right? It just falls right apart like that. But it's so nice and moist too. This is great even to throw on a salad. So, that way if you're cooking anyway, you may as well go ahead and offer a couple of tips to make multiple meals, right? You could put those on salads, you could throw this on fajitas, you could, like I said, I do this low-fat chicken enchilada using those new wraps that are only like 40 calories. I don't know if you guys have seen them, they're awesome. And of course you can add refried beans and salsa, kinds of stuff. But we're just gonna go ahead and dump this right back in. You could, of course, use your favorite tool in the whole world.
Salad choppers.
Listening, actually, actually, I like it better than with the salad choppers because now they're more chunky pieces instead of shredded pieces. But yeah, so I'll bring that to my show. But just look how simple. Yeah, okay, that's done. We're gonna throw this back in and then you can just add a little cilantro and sour cream and got some green cheese too.
So one of our favorite things to do with chicken in the quick
use that.
cooker
Don't touch
is
the
to
glass,
do
'cause
that
it's-
and then,
okay.
cut it up for chicken
And just pour
Alfredo.
them on top.
Oh, that's a great idea, sure.
What was that, Pip?
I
Chicken
said we
Alfredo?
like to do it for chicken Alfredo.
Okay.
We cook the chicken in there and then
Make the Alfredo sauce in the blender?
Hot. Okay, Kate, I'm behind you.
Okay.
That's what one of my guests, in the host, she's taking all her sauces and her Alfredo sauces, her
yeah.
marinara sauces.
Oh, the Alfredo's fabulous in there too.
I would say, getting back to the cooking show, thing, with something like this, okay, we see how much time that took. You may, or any recipe that might be a little bit more involved, you could go ahead and as guests are arriving, start having them get in the kitchen and go ahead and get the recipe going. And that will save.
That's what I do when I make soup.
Yeah, that'll save you time too, so you're not just all standing around waiting for it to be done. And then you can demo afterwards how it washes itself. Which we need some. Now, I have a question, do you rinse out the product that's in here before you wash it? or
I
just go in?
usually do it a little bit.
I do.
Yeah.
I do too, cause it
I
doesn't,
like-
otherwise I feel like
I
I'm
like to
just-
make sure like the top part
Yeah.
where the lid goes
Uh-huh.
is
So I actually do it the other way. I let it like wash everything out,
And then rinse
and
it.
then rinse it. Yep.
yeah. Well, you
You rinse it again anyway, but.
Yeah, I always rinse it again, but especially for
No,
like
my oven's gonna stink
the
a little
nut
bit, so
butters.
it's time to.
Because it
how
gets
I
like
drop
if you
my
rinse it
cheesecake.
yourself, it gets
Yeah.
all.
let's see.
How many minutes?
It just, we're gonna watch it just until it's lightly brown.
Broil for 3 to 4 minutes, or until the cheese is bubbly and slightly brown. Yeah.
So, Wes, you can see, look how hardy and medium that is, so if you're doing weight watching,
I think like
it does call for a little bit of oil in this recipe, but you can omit that and just spray. But everything in this is free, Weight Watcher free,
Oh, nice.
yeah. So, and all it is open up a bunch of cans and throw it all in there, which is awesome. But there's so much already, fiber, protein, everything's in there, but I think you could certainly add a combo if you wanted to bump it up of half of both the pea protein and the kale, for this. You could, of course, go vegetarian with this. I'm sure you could do venison in here and some other things, right? Same type of thing. It uses a low sodium taco seasoning, or you can make your own seasoning too. I do put a little bit of our chipotle on the chicken. I think you could kick it up with garlic and just all kinds of things, right? So,
I use the Southwest seasoning.
Yeah.
Southwest, yep. So you can put some cheese or this cilantro. I didn't put cilantro in because I know some people hate it, but I love it in here. And then some sour cream, and I do have some things. I was gonna say one thing about this. You know, I find, because I've been doing soups at my shows all the time, I actually think, because that took so long, that you could start that with your host as people are coming in, and then just do the cleaning in front of people, and that will sell blenders.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, because there's nothing really but throw stuff in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, it's true.
People know how to measure. People know how.
Okay, I'll take that.
Oh yeah.
That was fast.
Wow.
It does look impressive. Okay, we need some pictures of that one. Can't eat until you take a picture with it, holding it.
Oh, chives, put the chives on top.
Okay.
Yeah, like holding like this.
Excuse what?
Just a few of them.